Today we continue with our class Kosher Kitchen, and we start with Sefer Shmiras Haloshon, and the topic is the most neglected. And it says, above we reflected Shmiras Haloshon as a mace mitzvah, right? Mace mitzvah, which woefully ignored by many and do not reckon as a mitzvah at all. Though this needs no proof, we will nevertheless demonstrate that it is true. There are people who find nothing wrong with saying the most derogatory remarks about others for no good reason. When asked why do you speak Lashon Hara, they respond with dozens of reasons as to why their words are not Lashon Hara at all. If the questionnaire then responds with irrefutable proof that indeed the statement voiced do constitute Lashon Hara, they respond, well, it is not Lashon Hara when it says about so-and-so. It is a mitzvah to speak ill of him. The more the one tries to convince them that they err, the more they heap calmly upon the subject and their ill-spoken words. Does this happen with other sins? Does the otherwise observant Jew who has been caught eating something forbidden respond to to his reprover by grabbing another piece of the food and shoving into his own mouth? Certainly not. Why then does this occur with the sin of Lashon Hara, which, as we have spoken in previous chapters, is among the worst sins of the Torah? The answer is that since the serious matter has become hefker, disregarded, and trampled upon the many. We speak not only of habitual gossipers. There are many people who are not given to the gossip, yet do not consider Lashon Hara as serious as the most other sins. Therefore, they turn a deaf ear when they told or refrain from speaking the forbidden. There is no greater mace mitzvah in our time. Okay, so it's a little longer piece, but let's try to understand. So not the last time, but the time before that. We said that mitzvah of Shmiras Haloshon, it's like a mace mitzvah, meaning that it's neglected, meaning when there is a corpse along the road and there is nobody to bury it, so it's our responsibility to bury. We said even Kohen Gadol, the must bury, right? Even somebody who is Nazir, even somebody who is going to who is heading to Yerushalayim to bring Pesach sacrifice, everybody must do that. That's how important this mitzvah, mace mitzvah, to bury the dead, right? Not because, as we said, not because as he's disgraced as now, because he's dead, there is no disgrace, but because it used to be in this body was holy neshama. That's the thing. Okay, so now we'll reflect on this Lashon Hara. So he said, let's prove there is a mitzvah. He said, of course, everybody know that it's not allowed, but still. Okay. So again, above we refer to Shmiras Haloshon as a mace mitzvah, meaning like something neglected. Nobody is doing it. A mitzvah is woefully ignored by many who do not reckon it as a mitzvah at all, meaning many people speak freely Lashon Hara, not for constructive purpose. So if it's for a constructive purpose, if you're trying to educate people, that's and you give an example, yeah, that's one thing. But in general, if it's for not constructive purpose, so it's absolutely forbidden. Though this need no proof, we will nevertheless demonstrate that it is true. Okay, meaning that it is mace mitzvah. There are people who find nothing wrong with saying most derogatory remark about others for no good reason. So again, if you have a reason and it's constructive purpose, 1 second, it is a different story. It is a different, but otherwise it's absolutely forbidden. Okay, no good reason. Okay, when asked why do you speak Lashon Hara, they respond with dozens reasons as to why their words do not consider Lashon Hara. It's very interesting when we speak out about Reshaim, all of the clowns. So always, absolutely, always, somebody, one or two or a few people, or 3 or 7 people would come and blame us speaking Lashon Hara. And I, some time ago, I started asking them, but how about you? You also speak Lashon Hara. Who allowed you to speak? Right? It's very interesting. And then they become aggressive. And then they start cursing. And this is why this laws, according to this Shmendrix, right? Why this laws, Lashon Hara, apply to me, but does not apply to them. What is the difference? What is the difference? It's very interesting, right? They never thought about it. Like some people, they are ready to blame somebody, but they're not ready to accept something back. It's very interesting, right? In their mind, if somebody says something negative, they speak Lashon Hara. If they will speak Lashon Hara about the speaker, that's not a problem. Very interesting, which is absolutely not true. If the questionnaire then responds with irrefutable proof that indeed the statement, his voice do constitute Lashon Hara, right? Meaning that there is no constructive purpose for me or for these people around to hear that. For example, he's talking about a Jew in another town, in another country. How, all of the bad things, how does it help us? Do we know this guy? Are we going to marry his children? What is the connection? There is no connection whatsoever, right? So absolutely it is forbidden. But plus, it's not proven second-hand information. All of these things. Okay. Right. So they will respond. Well, it is not Lashon Hara, but it says about so and so. Right. But again, they say because he's a rasha, or he's not such a good person because he does not treat his wife well. How do you know? Maybe she's lying. How do you know? Did you hear from his wife? No, I heard from my wife. He heard from his wife's cousin friend. Like, you serious, right? And you already blamed this person. That happens. From some time ago, I start asking questions. Sometimes the question is so obvious, but when I overcame myself some time ago and asked question was very obvious. It was even embarrassing to ask it. The answer was unbelievable. So I would not even guess. So the person said the truth. But I almost said, but you represent yourself totally opposite, which is what is the word? Never does. It's you confuse people, right? Very interesting. Okay. Continue. The more one tries, right? The more one tries to convince them that they err, the more they heap the calumny upon the subject of ill-spoken words, right? So, you say, I cannot say about him. You know what else he did? You know what I did not tell you about? And he started. And it does not matter. It doesn't matter how information is negative upon negative. If it does not relate to me, I cannot use this information in any positive sense, me or people who are close to me. That's it. It is forbidden for me to listen. Right? That doesn't matter how bad this person is. Okay. Does this happen with other sins? Right, it's very interesting. So, what is this different about this Lashon Hara? So So he said, if another Jew, right, does the otherwise observant Jew has been caught eating something forbidden, responds to the reprover by grabbing another piece of food and stuffing in his own mouth? Absolutely not. He's embarrassed. He wants to die on the spot. Right? We saw him what did we see? It was one time. I think I was working somewhere, and it was a cafe, not kosher, and they had the tables outside, under the canopy. And I saw a Jew sitting there, and somebody else, and there were a small table, and there were foods, not kosher, and the Jew was a keeper. I stared at him, I don't know, I was in shock. I stared at him, and he stared at me, And then I walked by. I did not say. And then he ran after me and he started saying, no, I was just drinking coffee. It's my acquaintance, right? So it's very interesting. So he was like, I don't know him. He does not know me. It was in another place. Very interesting. Not even in my town. Okay. All right. So if somebody would even suspect somebody eating non-kosher, so we try to to prove ourselves that we're not guilty. And in this case, the guy was caught, so he's not going to eat another piece just to prove his point. Right. Why then this occurs? The sin of Lashon Hara. Right. As we have shown in previous chapters, it's among the worst mitzvahs of the Torah. Right, as we said, according to some opinion, that equal to 3 cardinal sins, the sin of Lashon Hara. So it's very grave, right? So how come that because of non-kosher? I mean, for non-kosher, what's the punishment? I think lashes. If a person eats some kind of non-kosher food, he would get chorus. Maybe I don't remember blood. Maybe like blood, maybe halach. This forbidden fats. Maybe I would not remember all from the top of my head, but that's it. So right. But Lashon Hara is very different, right? So a person can lose his share in the world to come for eating blood. I mean, if he constantly was eating blood, yes, but if only a few times, probably not. Okay. Right, and he did the Shiur, that's a different story. Okay, so continue. So why the situation is different? The answer is that the very serious matter has become hefker, right? So meaning hefker is nobody, right? Disregarded, so nobody is doing anything about it, and trample upon many, right? So all people are talking. We speak not only of habitual gossipers. There are many people who are not given to gossip, yet they do not consider the Lashon Hara is some serious. Okay, they would not say, but they would listen. But listening, we also said it is a problem putting stumbling block in front of the blind. Right, you smile and you said you give person attention, listening ear. Now he wants to hear you another story about another person. Right. This is no greater mitzvah in our time. Okay. So we stop here. Let me see if we have any questions on what we said. It's very interesting. I think. Okay. No questions. So let's continue. And we continue with kosher kitchen, and we're in chapter 14, and we are discussing Kashering utensils. And now big topic. 1 second. I will be big topic Kashering with Hagalah. Okay. So continue. We're on point number 4. And we said the problem with a ben Yomo utensil. Okay, so ben Yomo, again, that there is a utensil that was used in the past 24 hours. We said that the taste is still there of what was cooked there. So after 24 hours, as we said in the beginning of the book, everything changes. The taste become repugnant. It's no longer the taste of that food. It's like a garbage. So there is a much greater leniency. Of course, we said that, right? But to kosher, if it's still have this taste absorbed in a vessel, that's a problem. But what is the problem? Let's see. Unlike libum, so libum is a fire, which we said is going to burn the taste completely. Unlike the libum, Hagalah does not incinerate the non-kosher taste embedded in utensil. It merely removes it from the utensil. Therefore, every Hagalah is problematic, right? The purged non-kosher taste mixed with the hot kashering water and may immediately be absorbed into the utensil, invalidate the Hagalah process. There are several possible solutions to the problem. So listen to this, and that's amazing. All right. So what is the problem with Hagalah? What is the difference? Right. If we dip it in a hot water. Right. This pot. Right. So again, the difference, unlike libum, Hagalah does not incinerate the taste, so it does not spoil the taste, right? It takes out the taste, so it takes the taste is taken out from utensil, absorbed into water, right? It has to go somewhere, and then from water, since the water is hot, and we said many times how the taste being transferred through the heat. So through the heat, it goes back into the utensil. All right. The purge is, again, I'm going to read just to make sure that we understand correctly. The purge non-kosher taste mixed into hot kosher in water, right, and may immediately be absorbed in a utensil. So it went out and got in. Invalidating the Hagalah process. There are several possible solutions to this problem. Okay. Just 1 second. There are many commentaries. Okay. Continue. So, solution to the problem. The utensil may be koshered in a pot containing amount of water 60 times the volume of the purged non-kosher taste. Okay. In this case, the non-kosher taste is immediately nullified by a 60-to-1 ratio. The solution is impractical since it is difficult to measure the exact volume of absorbed non-kosher taste. Sirima 252, okay. Right, so I mean, how do you know how much taste was absorbed in? And I mean, but still, estimate like, so it should not be too much compared to how much water, right? Or a lot of water. And if you take the whole square footage, or right, so square inches, I would say, of this pot, like it should not be too much. But our sages say, since technically there is no problem, maybe right, but practically maybe it's not so easy to calculate. Okay. A more practical solution is to wait 24 hours from the time the non-kosher taste was absorbed into utensil. Okay. So, I mean, that's what we always say. There is the last use. Okay. Before we continue, let's see the commentary. Okay, so straightforward solution is to wait 24 hours from the time it was last used. Of course, I would say, I think the right approach is when it is clean. So when you wash it, not when you last use, if there is a residue in there, so the residue stays, right? You have to wash the pot and then count this 24 hours from that moment, not when it's dirty. Okay. So let's see. Commentary. When kosher in non-kosher pot, as opposed to kosher in dairy or meat pot, to make it parv, one must wait for 24 hours from any use with heat. Okay. So, for example, if pot was used for a non-kosher food, or a meat pot was used for a heat to heat milk, the Sunday evening, and use again to boil water on Monday evening, the pot cannot be kosher until Tuesday night, a full 24 hours after the Monday evening use of to boil water. However, a parv pot was used to heat milk on Monday or on Sunday evening, and subsequently used on Monday evening to boil water, one may kosher it immediately on Monday evening to restore it to parv status, since 24 hours passed from Sunday daily use. There is a difference of opinion among the paskim whether the chometz utensil being kosher for psak is similar in this regard to the non-kosher pot. Okay, so before we continue, let's try to understand. So we're going to see this commentary one more time. When kosher in non-kosher pot, so meaning by mistake, some non-kosher food fell into this pot, they did not know, they cooked it, okay. When kosher in for a non-kosher pot, as opposed to the kosher in dairy or meat pot to make it parv, Meaning, what does it mean? Meaning that it was a pot, right? Even it like the situation. I want to explain the situation. Could be that it was a part of pot, and then use it to cook milk or to cook meat, right? Separately. So meaning this pot is no longer part of, and they want to convert it to part of again. So meaning, as we said before, it's much more lenient because this is not prohibited taste, right? And taste is going to go away anyway, right? After your kasher, it's going to go away. Okay. So again, when kosher, a non-kosher pot. So non-kosher is the food is always forbidden, right? As the opposite to kosher, dairy or meat pot, make it part of. Okay, so and then from part of you can switch, right? You can switch to milk or meat. One must wait 24 hours for a non-kosher pot from any use with heat. Okay. For example, if a pot was used for a non-kosher food, or meat pot was used for a milk to heat milk, right? So meaning or otherwise. Milk pot was used to cook meat. Doesn't matter. All this exactly the same situation. Meaning, the point is that there is a forbidden taste in this pot. That's the point. Okay. On Sunday evening, so they use this pot for non-kosher food or a meat pot used for milk, right? On Sunday evening, and they used again to boil water on Monday evening. Right, meaning I guess it was a clean pot, and on Monday evening they'd use it again. So what's the problem? The pot cannot be kosher until Tuesday night. So meaning from the last usage of boiling water, 24 hours. Okay. Meaning a full 24 hours after the Monday evening, use to boil water. Okay. However, if part of pot was used to heat milk, so it was part. So meaning what that this leniency again. I want to stress this leniency because there is nothing forbidden in this case, right? If you have part of pot and you decided to make it meat pot, that's it. You don't need to do anything special. Just start cooking meat in this pot, and that's it. Right, or milk, right? You start cooking milk, and that's it, right? So meaning that the taste, the status of the pot was not problematic. Okay. However, if the part of pot was used to heat milk on Sunday evening, and subsequently used on Monday evening to boil water, right? So I mean, it's still kosher. One may kosher it immediately on. 1 second. On Monday evening, to restore to the part of status since 24 hours passed from Sunday daily use. Okay, so as we said, it is leniency because the taste was allowed. Okay. Sirema Yorekdaya 1037. Okay. There is a difference of the opinion among the poskim where the Chometz utensil is being koshered for psak in a similar to regard to the non-kosher pot. The way I understand is yes, but yes, some people say no. I mean, because the prohibition of eating Pesach to have this forbidden chometz on Pesach is there is no minimum, right? In other cases is 1 to 60. It's going to nullify. Eventually, it's going to nullify. But in case of the Pesach, there is no nullification. That's the issue, right? That's why I understand this poskim who didn't rule stringently. I'm not sure why other ruled leniently. Of course, they have basis, but I don't remember rationale. Okay. Okay, so let's read the whole line. So we're going back to the text. The more practical solution is to wait 24 hours from the time that a non-kosher taste was absorbed into utensil. There is the last use. Okay. Commentary, let's see, last use. It is preferable to clean the utensil before 24 hours waiting period. See Magen Avraham 452.9, Mishnah Berurah 452.20. So the name that I was trying to remember another day was Magen Avraham. So, here we go. See Shiur Zatziyun, cite a lenient opinion. Okay, so it's preferably to clean this utensil before the 24-hour period. Okay, it may be that since nowadays we usually clean utensil with soap, any taste absorbed while washing it render pagum. Since one may clean utensil even during the 24 hours period. If one did not clean utensil before the 24 hours period, he may clean it immediately before kashering without waiting additional 24 hours. So it's actually, if you understand what it says here, it's a big leniency. We never done it like this, but we never teach anybody like this. But technically, I mean, people can realize. So the straightforward way to remember: first you wash it with the soap, of course. You wash it clean with baking soda, with whatever you need to do, right? And then you let it stay for 24 hours, and then you kosher. But here they say he's saying that today people wash with the soap. So the soap is very like bitter or something. So for sure, even it's going to spoil the taste, right? It's going to spoil the taste. Once I remember I forgot I rinsed something like the cup or something. Was the cup? I did not rinse well. I mean, I was in a hurry, and then I poured some drink, and it was very bitter because there was some still, I don't know, like drops of like a fraction of the drop of the soap. It's very bitter. It's very interesting, right? So this soap is actually good for us. So because it kills the taste, right? Right. So it kills all the taste absorbed into the walls of the utensil, right? And now it becomes pagum. Pagum, it's meaning the spoiled, right? And it says preferably, of course, do it before the 24 hours period, but even during the 24-hour period, and even it's, which is a big leniency, a big hiddush for me personally, you can do it right before the kashering. Okay, meaning it was dirty all this time, and right before the kashering you decided to wash it with the soap. Okay, no problem. Continue with the text. So a person should wait 24 hours after the last use with heat. One of the fundamental principles of kashrut is that non-kosher taste absorbed into the food cannot prohibit the food if it affects the flavor of the food to detrimental manner. Chazal assume that any flavor embedded in a utensil becomes stale, pagum, after 24 hours. When the stale taste is absorbed into food, it had a detrimental effect, and the food on the food, and cannot impart its prohibition. Thus, if one waits 24 hours from the last use before kashering the utensil, we are not concerned if the non-kosher stale taste re-enters the utensil. Therefore, one should never do Hagalah on utensil until 24 hours passes from the last non-kosher use. This is called non-binyama utensil. Okay, so let's do it again. There are many commentaries. I'll try to understand. Again, so he said, wait 24 hours. So 24 hours wait is always. When it's proper, as we said, to wash before, but even if you wash with the soap during, right, or right before, it's also no problem. But the main point is to wait to 24 hours because the taste is going to spoil. Okay, again, this piece from the beginning. One of the fundamental principles of kashrut is a non-kosher taste absorbed into the food cannot prohibit the food if it affects the flavor of the food in a detrimental manner. So meaning if it's not improving the taste, right? But it's actually spoiled the taste of the food, there is no problem. So meaning that's why if we eat what did we do? One second. If after 24 hours we have a dairy pot, right? And we cooked in it in this dairy pot. After 24 hours, we cooked pasta, right? We cook pasta, so that we can eat this pasta with a meat, right? Of course, we don't do it, but we're saying after the fact. After the fact, there is no problem. So even if it was some dairy taste in this pasta, so it's absorbed through the medium of water, so it's like already scaled down, and plus we said it's already not a taste, it's a spoiled taste. So meaning it did not improve, for sure did not improve our pasta, right? So of course we don't do it, but after the fact there is no problem. Okay. So Chazal assumed that any flavor embedded into utensil becomes stale, pagum, after 24 hours. Before we continue, let's say Chazal say that any utensil. Commentary. As noted above in 98, only the taste embedded in utensil becomes stale after the passage of 24 hours. Actual prohibited food does not lose its prohibited status until it becomes completely inedible. Right. So let's try to understand what it says here. It's very, very interesting. So it says there that only the taste embedded in utensil becomes stale after a period of 24 hours. Taste meaning it was clean, right? There was no residue, but whatever was absorbed into this utensil, where taste was absorbed, so it became pagum. Okay, pagum is spoiled. Right? Actual prohibited food does not lose its prohibited status until it becomes completely inedible. So maybe this residue of chicken soup, let's say, on this on this walls of this pot, they're not so inedible technically, right? Maybe if a person adds hot water and boil it, maybe it's going to be tasty. I don't know, but possible. So unless it's been there for a long time, it is spoiled. So that's what I said. I was a little surprised, but it makes sense since we wash with a soap, it makes sense. Okay, but technically, right? So taste, no problem. Food is a problem until it becomes inedible. How long does it need to become inedible? It depends on the food. Depends on the storage condition. If it was very hot, let's say, for sure it's spoiled. It was not cold. It was cold. Maybe the food is not the residue in the pot did not spoil. Okay. So again, the whole sentence. Chazal assumed that any flavor embedded in utensil becomes pagum, stale, after 24 hours. Commentary. This is opinion Shulchan Aruch, Yorek Dayah 103.5 and 122.2. Sigra. To commentary to that place, and is in the standard opinion. Okay, so that's what we go. I mean, we have enough stringencies. We don't add stringency upon ourselves. Okay, 24 hours spoiled, no problem. However, many Rishonim, see Beis Yosef Yoredea 103, maintains that even passing one night is sufficient to ruin the embedded taste. Poskim rely upon the latter opinion only when used in combination with other lenient consideration. See Chachmas Adam 55.4. Okay, so again, there is a lenient opinion that a normal opinion, accepted opinion is 24 hours, but there is a more lenient opinion even overnight. So overnight, but it has to be in combination with other leniencies. Okay, so that's let's not talk about exceptions. Concentrate on general rule. When the stale taste is absorbed into food, right? Meaning bad taste, like after 24 hours. It has detrimental effect, so it's not as good, right, on the food, and cannot impart prohibition. So meaning that's what we said, right? This when we cook this pasta in a milk pot after 24 hours. So yeah, there is some residue, but since it's not good and the stale taste, for sure it did not improve my pasta, for sure. Okay. Again, we don't do it like intentionally, but if we already did it, there is no problem. Okay. Okay. So thus, if one waits 24 hours from the last use before kosher utensil, we are not concerned that if non-kosher stale taste retains in utensil, right? So meaning even if it is there, most likely it is there, and it got absorbed into our food, there is no problem. Okay. Therefore, one should never use Hagalah on utensil until 24 hours passes from the last non-kosher use. This is called non-benyama utensil, right? So meaning 24 hours that because as we said before on the previous page, because Hagalah works, it like extract the taste, but through the same avenue it can go back, it can reverse, and through the hot water, with the medium through which the taste absorb, it can absorb the taste back. So it's not pagum. The taste is going to absorb back. Okay, so let's see the commentary. It is interesting to know that one exception to this principle. A utensil that was used to store wine or whiskey, for example, treif whiskey bottle that one wishes to kosher and use as a wine bottle, cannot be koshered after many 24 hours. So again, it is interesting to know the exception to the principle. A utensil that was used to store wine or whiskey. Okay, so wine or whiskey. Okay, for example, a treif whiskey bottle that one wishes to kosher for the use of the wine or bottle. Okay, so meaning they have a non-kosher whiskey. What is non-kosher? Could be in the whiskey some addition, whatever they add it, or some wine. Sometimes they use add wine to make the whiskey. Sometimes they do in the casks, right? And sherry casks, right? From a region in Spain that is called sherry. So it looks like a famous wine, right? And of course the taste absorbed into this whiskey, it becomes not kosher. Some people say it's kosher. They prove how is it kosher, but the tendency today is right to drink only with the kosher stamp, right? Okay, so now this bottle was not kosher. So the whiskey in the bottle was not kosher. Let's say he got the bottle from somewhere, beautiful bottle, and he wants to use it as a wine bottle. Okay. So it cannot be kosher after merely waiting 24 hours. Okay. So the problem with whiskey, I'm just thinking out loud, is not because it was cooked with heat. So initially it was cooked, but in a bottle it was the way I understand was poured while it's cold. But we said before, don't remember when, but we said there is the taste is transferred through soaking. Soaking, we said 24 hours, and plus here is the alcohol. Of course, in whiskey, I think that it stays in. I'm not sure how long they keep in the bottles. Like even though in some whiskeys say 5 years, 15 years, 20 years. But I think they keep this 20 years in the casks, and then put in the bottle like I don't know. Like after I guess after 15 years. Otherwise, the bottles would not look so good, I think. Like labels is everything. If you are going to keep whiskey in a bottle for 15 years, I think. right? So meaning it was cold. The whiskey was cold all the time. So it was the transfer of the taste was not through the heat, but I guess as we learned through soaking. It does not say here, but thinking out loud, right? Logically, right? So this bottle cannot be kosher after merely waiting 24 hours. Unlike other foods and drinks, wine improves with age. Right, so very interesting. Right, wine improves with age and absorb taste that does not become stale with the passage of time. Right, so wine the longer you keep, or whiskey even, so it becomes better. Okay, similar whiskey bottle retain a strong whiskey taste and aroma. Okay, Simish number 151, 120. Okay, so wine improve with time. And whiskey improve with time. And the similar bottle retains strong whiskey taste and aroma. Okay, so it's very interesting. The method of kashering wine bottle is described Shulchan Aruch, starting with Siman 135. Before being kosher, a whiskey bottle must be scrubbed thoroughly and boiled in a soapy solution until the whiskey aroma is completely gone. So in olden days, right? Even I remember when I was little, somebody would get this whiskey bottle. It was so beautiful, because it probably cost a lot of money, right? It was very unordinary, right? Some people collect this bottle. Not very interesting. Okay. Right, so to kosher this whiskey bottle, you have to get rid of the taste completely, because improve the taste. Okay, so 112. Continue. Therefore, one should never do Hagalah on a utensil until 24 hours have passes from last non-kosher use. This is called non-binyama utensil. Okay, so we'll learn about non-binyama. Continue. So we don't lose the track. So we're talking about points how to kosher utensil with problem with binyama utensil, meaning that if we don't wait 24 hours. In difficult situation, for example, one cannot wait 24 hours. Some poskim permit putting some foul tasting substance, for example bleach, into the kashering water, and thereby ruining the taste. Okay, Okay, no problem. There is purge from utensil being kosher. Others question the efficacy of the kosher in this manner. Okay, so again, in a difficult situation, for example, one cannot wait 24 hours. Some poskim permit putting some foul tasting substance, for example, bleach. I'm not sure, bleach in some it's like a kind of poison. If somebody drinks bleach, it can burn person from inside, I think. They put in the kashering water, and thereby ruining the taste for sure, right? It's going to smell with the bleach. There is purge from utensil being koshered, right? Others question the efficacy of this manner. Okay, so they say just notes. Continue. The problem applies to Hagalah only, meaning 24 hours. When kashering with libum, we said it last time, one may kasher even binyama utensil, since libum does not merely purge, but incinerates. So like incinerates, like burns in there, the non-kosher taste. But Hagalah, it's like extract taste. But as we said, the way they extract, you can impart back. Okay. Next point, kashering pot. After utensil has been cleaned for 24 hours have passed, one fill the pot water and bring it to boil. The pot should preferably be the type of utensil being koshered. However, one may use a pot that was not used for 24 hours. So it's very interesting. technically, you're not obligated to have a special kashering pot. Technically, right? So it's if you have let's say if you want to kosher the dairy pot, right? To parev, right? Or parev, no, parev you don't kosher. So you want to kosher this dairy pot. So it's preferable. It's not obligatory, but it's preferable that you take this dairy pot, clean one that have not been used for 24 hours. This is not for 24 hours, and the pot that you're going to kosher. But again, it has to be large enough. Usually people, most of the people don't have a special, unless they have a huge family or they use it for something else. We bought special, like separate kashering pot, like I don't know how, for a huge one, right? And we lent it to everybody, so we already did many mitzvahs with that pot. It's very interesting, right? And it's not so expensive. But I guess people who don't have a storage, we have a storage we have like separate storage in a basement, like a little, so we can put it away. So that's advantage. But other people, they simply they live in a small apartment. They're not given any like extra storage. It's hard to put this kashering pot that maybe you're going to use once a year, maybe not even. Okay. Right. So, but again, going back, it does not have to be special kashering pot. It does not have to be. Right. So if it's not used for 24 hours, that was not used for 24 hours. That's fine. Right. That's fine. All right. So continue. The water. So we spoke about kosher pot. Next one step is the water. Hagalah should be done only in water. Other liquids may be unable to purge utensil from absorbing taste. So Rema 452.5, see Mishnah Berurah chapter 26, who notes that one should not use Hagalah with the soapy water. I don't remember exactly what's the problem with the soapy water, but for sure they say no. Maybe because it creates like a film, but maybe that's the issue. But soapy water we don't use. Regular water. Okay. So step number 7, heating the water. The water should be brought to the boiling of 212 degrees Fahrenheit. The water must be actually boil and bubble, right? So that's why you always have to, like when you have a little break, whatever break you have to keep the lid there, right? Meaning, like if you have to kosher many things, and if the temperature dropped, so you have to cover and wait until it started boiling again, right? So again, the water should be brought to boil, 212 degrees, bubbling meaning. Initially, the utensil should be placed in water only after the water become to boil. However, as explained in Mishnah Berurah, however, if utensil was placed in the water before it's boiled, Hagalah is nevertheless valid. I mean, it's not proper, but it's not like you're cooking utensils, so you have to just dip them for a few seconds and take them out. Okay, but if a person put there and with them inside the water start boiling, okay, so after the fact, no problem. The temperature should be maintained throughout the Hagalah process. Often when koshering many utensils, the water cools slightly and stops boiling. One should wait until the water returns to the boil before adding additional utensils. Okay, so that's, very straightforward. Placing cover on a koshering pot expedites the reheating process. Right, of course. If you cover it, it's going to start boiling faster. Okay. A practical tip: whenever one needs to boil water for koshering purposes, the process may be substantially accelerated if filling the koshering water with hot tub water, and then place it on the kosher to stove boil. Right. If you try to like a big pot, let's say, and you put it in that cold water, I don't know. Maybe you have to wait an hour, maybe 2 hours. I don't know. But it's a lot of water. It's a lot of water. So they suggest that take the tap water, hot water, and it's going to warm up more quickly, right? Okay. So next step is placing utensil into the boiling water. And it says, right, so while it's boiling, so next step. The utensil should be dry before placing into the boiling water. Very important. Should be dry before putting it in the water. Any cold water on utensil may somewhat cool the boiling water. Okay. Cold water. I mean, it's still boiling, but it's not already as hot. Okay. Continue. Hagalah is accomplished only when all surfaces of the utensil come into direct contact with the boiling water. Right? So everything from outside and inside, right, must come into contact with the boiling water. At times the utensil may be too large or too long to submerge into the water at once. In this case, one insert the half of the utensil, removes it, and then insert the second half. So there is no problem whatsoever. So insert one half, then turn around and put another half. But as I said, we bought huge pots, so like what did not fit there? I mean, somebody told me that he had a frying pan and it did not fit. Okay, so I mean, but I told him you have to do one side and then another side. There is no problem. But all other things like they actually fit. Okay. The problem is if you have a big pot and then you have to lower into this boiling water and then you have to get out. And it's, you remember, it's full of water. It's full completely. So it's very dangerous. See, you have to get these gloves. So we bought these gloves, like very thick gloves. It is rubber gloves, but there is have a special insulation. So it's special gloves, like very huge gloves. It's not gloves. It's what do you call them? Mittens. I think they call them, right? When they have only like a thumb finger, right? That's it. So this mittens, you or the gloves. I don't remember. Whatever. That doesn't matter. So with good insulation, because sometimes you have to go with these gloves into boiling water. You have to be strong enough, and then you have to lift and pour out the water, like if it's a big pot. So very careful. So I mean, technically, is it possible to kosher? Yes, but if you're going to do like big pots, so of course you can do side by side. Like maybe it would be easier. You hold by one handle, then you dip, and then you take out, and then you switch the handle, and then you do sideways if it's possible. Right, it depends again. It depends on your how big the kashering pot. But if you have to put straight forward, straight down, that's a problem. So if you take out, right, it's going to be full of water, hot water. So and then you would have to pour back. So it's not so easy thing to do. I mean, it's dangerous, of course, as we said. Be dressed properly. Right, to protect your feet for sure, to protect your legs, because it may splash very easily. Right. So let me go a little back. So Hagalah accomplished only when all surfaces of utensil come into direct contact with boiling water. We said that. At times the utensil may be too large or too long to submerge in the water all at once. In this case, one inserts half of the utensil, removes it, and then inserts the other half. Since each part of the utensil was ultimately submerged into boiling water, the utensil is considered kosher. Okay, so commentaries say, or HaShulchan, or Chaim, sorry, it's not Rosh, or Chaim 251, 451:11, Sigras 452:17, who knows that one should avoid as much as possible reinserting parts that were koshered already. Okay. Right. Okay. Okay, so meaning, and another rabbi stating that one should avoid kosher utensil in 2 stages. So I mean, of course it's not preferable. That's why we got big pot, but after the fact we can rely on the opinion that that the stage is actually allowed, right? Continue. One should note that halachas of tevilas kelim are different. So tevilas kelim is we didn't get to it yet. Of course, it's I'm not sure. I think he's going to discuss. I think I did not look. So meaning it's a next step after you kosher the utensil. You have to dip into the mikvah, and it must be kosher mikvah, much more kosher than for men. Right? For men, he can go in the pool, right, to dip as a mikvah, right, like a swimming pool. Right, he can stand under the shower a certain amount of minutes, like 7 minutes, 10 minutes, something like that, and it's enough. It's considered as a mikvah. But for women, it's not going to work because it's biblical. Same this tevilah kelim is also it's also biblical, right? So that's it must be very kosher mikvah, right? That's what they say, right? It has to be merged at once. One should note that halachas, tevilas kelim are different. When immersed in utensil in mikveh, the entire utensil must be submerged once. No part of utensil may be remained out of the water. So again, with kashering, it is after the fact that is allowed, right? You have a boiling koshering pot, one part and then another part. Especially like with I guess maybe with larger, was it a frying pan? That would be an issue, right? But with a dipping in the mikveh, completely. But mikveh it's usually it's huge. Mikveh in order to be kosher, like even minimum, right? It should be like something like a standard bathtub, something like approximately for a seah, plus minus. You understand? So the minimum requirement if when we were learning about mikvah, so it says that a person would lie down on its back, and it would be container like the smallest to the person's size, and the water would cover completely. So as we understand, it's not it's like a bathtub. So I mean, where really they have standard bathtub, they're very small. Only a baby can lie down, but the adult person would sit. Right? It's not that long. It's like 5 feet long or something, right? And it's carved, so it's like much less, right? Or 6 feet. Maybe it's 6 feet. I said 5. I don't know, 5 or 6 feet. Doesn't matter, right? So meaning the bathtub, but right, but it's a little have a little more water, so plus minus. Right, so in the mikveh, it's very simple to dip it on completely. But again, you must remember that it's going to be very heavy. When it comes well in the mikveh where we go, there is a small pool, right? It's next to the store. So even for me, like when you have to like bend over. Right, like it's a window. You have to bend over into this mikvah, and you have this pot. Let's say a big pot, and it's full of water. Like to lift it in this position, not so simple. I think that the lady, not every lady would able to do that. Simple, right? Right. It's not so easy. Okay. It's heavy, and you do it in a not comfortable position. Point number 9, and it says maintaining water temperature. We noted earlier that the water must continue boiling throughout the kashering process. When kashering many utensils, one should wait until the water returns to the boiling to boil before adding additional utensils. Okay, so basically, when you're planning to kosher, so if you're planning that it's going to take you, I don't know, half an hour, so count like 2 hours minimum, right? And all of these things, unexpected things that might come up. Okay, so let me see the time. Okay, so let's stop here. Of course, we did not finish. There are many more points. It's because it's very important for us to learn it in all of the details. Okay, so let's stop here, and we're going to continue Beezrat HaShem next time. So let's see if there are any questions. Apologies, logged me out. Loading, sorry. I have to change the settings. I think it got updated or something. Reset all the settings. Okay. Oh, many commentaries. It's for later. Okay. For later. Okay. Okay. So I think this is on the topic. Okay. I'm wondering what type of sponge/rag should one use to clean their pot that needs to be kashering? Okay, that's a very good question. Should they use a meat sponge for a meat pot, or that was accidentally used for dairy, and with all the ruin the sponge? So what we would do in our family, we do like a paper towel. A paper towel, and that's it. You use it. I mean, it works as a sponge. It's good, right? Work as a sponge one time, and they throw out, right? Because the person is correct. You can run the sponge. Why would you want to do that? Okay, especially when you work when you wash with the hot water, right? Even though you use soap, but still, right? Right. But technically, like the lenient opinion would be like if you use it with a soap, there is no problem. And the water is not that hot, it's not Yatzar, so after the fact would not be a problem. But we would do with the hot water, right? With the hot water above Yatzar, and with the soap is a paper towel, and throw this out, and that's it. But as you said, technically there is no problem. Continue. Okay, just a second. Next one. Well, practically speaking, would it be better to do this outside with a portable stove/coil to avoid ruining kitchen or injury with boiling water? I mean, it's a good question. So, I mean, if it's like the example that I gave, that I think it's dangerous. If you have a big pot and you try to kosher it, like you need to submerge it. Even partially, like how you're going to get out, like if you only hold in one handle, right? Let's say, right, you want to do parts side by side. Okay, so it's not so simple. You have to be strong enough, and you have to pour back the water. I guess you're not going to ruin the kitchen, but it's very dangerous. I would say before doing anything, it's like do test, right? How do you test? You do with cold water. Can you lift this pot like after you kosher with one hand, like in the cold water before the hot water, and see how is it going to work out for you. So all of these new additions. A person has a timer. They have air conditioning timer. That I always say, like if you never use this thing again, try to program before the holiday, before the Shabbos. Like on Shabbos, you will not be able to do anything. Right? For example, we have when we program our air conditioner. I'm not sure why is that. I'm not sure why is that. I don't think it's supposed to be like that. But the way it works is it's older model. So if you want it, like you can program it turn on. It's only two settings, on and off. Right, so like one time, like for example, in the morning, like early in the morning, it would be off, and then turn on back like afternoon or something, right? So if you want this programming to work, again, it's old model, maybe something wrong with remote control, but doesn't matter, right? So you have to first program why it's off and then turn on. So if you try to program, right, and it's going to give you beeps and you're going to show and display that everything correct, but it's not going to work. Guess what? Like, right, so that's the only way. And I always recommend people to run a test, like pretend how it's going to work out for you. Right, would be able to lift this pot even from cold water, even with two hands. Like if let's say a lady, like a little shorter, and she's not so strong. Like if she's going to step on a step ladder or on a stool or something like that, tiny stool. Like I have to be calculated. Maybe you will not be able to lift it. Maybe it's cheaper just to buy a new pot. Than to have this risk. And plus, I remember when we kosher something like and it's like splatters like splashed on my feet. Of course, I had my boots in. I knew that might happen. Like that doesn't matter how careful you are. But some people they do it in the slippers, right, and flip flops. Right, you can burn yourself. Right, so that's the point to be prepared. Right, so is it better to do it outside? I mean, technically, try to do it inside, like run a simulation test, and that's it. If a person just like a kosher and like small things, like I don't know, cups or I don't know this knives and then forks, there's no problem whatsoever. Smaller pots, right? Like even frying pans. You see, for frying pans, they're not deep. Right, they're very shallow. That's why they're not heavy. So you can put one side and another. There is no problem. All right. So that's the thing. Okay. So next question: does the pot that was used for kosher utensil become non-kosher afterwards? No. The answer is no. But I'm telling you, I'm going to tell you what happened to our kosher pot. So after many people use it, right? We used it. Other people use it. So it became like it's like even though everything what people kosher was clean, all the utensils clean, right? It has this like a black like residue, and I tried to wash it off, right? Because it does not look good. Right? With anything, it does not come out. So meaning this taste that came out, but it came in. Maybe with not maybe because of we use it for many years. Maybe that's why. Maybe if we wash it to begin with, right away after, maybe it would not stay. But ruin the pot. I don't think so. But this pot is 100% kosher. So this water, it's not good. I mean, it's meaning it's the pagum water. Pagum meaning spoiled water. No problem. Okay, that's the point. But this black line, like around, it's very interesting. Okay. So continue. So bottom line, the pot is kosher if you use, for example, your meat pot. So you can continue use it for meat. Even you use your utensil that you kosher that was used for meat and milk together, no problem whatsoever. Okay. Rabbi, is required to have separate sponges? Yes, absolutely. Yeah, of course, absolutely. For a meat, you have for meat you have a separate sponge. For a dairy, you have separate sponge. Some people have for a part of utensil have a separate sponge. So 3 sponges. Okay. Because many times you have to remember many times we wash these dishes like in the temperature above Yatzar bowl. So I wash with hot water dishes, right? I have the dishes with hot water because I use the gloves, like dishwashing gloves, and yeah, so because it's much faster and better job, right? So for sure, like this absorbed into everything. The taste would absorb. If I would use this dairy sponge, right, on this on the meat pot, for sure it's going to get absorbed. Okay. Next, I also don't remember where I heard, but I thought that Tevilah Kelim is now rabbinical. Please correct my understanding. No, it's not. Tevilah Kelim, so the dipping your utensils into the mikvah. So it depends what. So we said the metal, and we gave. Did we learn about it or not? Maybe it's next chapter. Maybe I don't know. Somehow I thought. I think we learned. I thought we learned it in Kitzur Shulchan Aruch. I think so. Right. So the metal ones, like that was mentioned in the Torah. Right. For sure you must dip them. And plus our rabbis added aluminum. Right, steel also. Right, steel is like today like stainless steel. Is it like one of the metals that was used in the Torah? Absolutely, in the Chumash, absolutely not. Right, it's a combination of steels. Right, but it's actually you have to dip it with a blessing and plus glass. With glass also you dip with a blessing. Other things. You dip right without blessings. Okay, and some things you're not obligated to dip, but if you want, you can dip. Okay, but it's a separate section. I think we're going to spend the whole chapter learning about it exactly. Where you like if you have only natural body of water, you have a pond, right? You have some spring or something. You have a river, you have ocean, sea, right? You're going to see. Okay. So maybe right, it would be the best if your natural body of water, ocean, go. So as I remember some time ago, maybe I said maybe not. We were trying to help somebody to kosher all of the utensils, the whole kitchen. Person bought whatever, like a lot of new, and some of them they were able to kosher. So we took everything to the ocean. So we live not too far from the ocean, and there is a boat launcher. Boat launcher meaning that they come like it's like this ramp that goes like cement, like a ramp that goes inside of the ocean. Meaning that the guy would come with an attachment like to this what is it, the trailer, right? With a boat. They go into the water, right? Since it is a deep, so the wheels are in the water, and they can push the boat out. So like a boat launcher. So we did exactly. We don't have a boat, but we have a car. So we went back, right? Opened our trunk, and then we were like going into water, right? Like water and dipping everything in the mikvah. So police stopped by, like, what are you doing? You're washing dishes in a public parking. And I said, no. You see, I see police officer come, and I brought him to my car. And so you see, they're brand new, like boxes. It's not like we're washing dory wishes to poison the fish in the ocean, right? So, but so we said it's. I told them it's a religious procedure. That's what we do. They left us alone. Me, right? I mean, they saw it's brand new. Right? It's very interesting. Public park. So that's very convenient. But the one thing about the ocean water, what we spoiled once, it was a thermos. So if you have a thermos comes in two, the way I understand, like two kinds. One is like inside. That's inside is what is it? Stainless steel, no problem. So you're not going to ruin. But once we bought a thermos, and it was like a glass. Like the inside was glass. I think it's removable. And guess what? This salty water, it's like melted completely. So it's like a spoiled thermos, brand new thermos. Right. So you have to be careful and see what you can dip in salty water, what cannot. Right. So continue. Does one remove the heavy pot from boiling water? If one has a large pot seated inside another pot, and the pot inside would fill with the boiling water, how do one remove it? So that's exactly what I said is a problem. But I think I just thought about solution. So the solution is, if you're going to use the class, so if you're going to kosher everything that you need to kosher, and then you have this pot, you put it in a heavy pot, in the kashering pot, and then you let it stay there. Or maybe, like, I'm just thinking out loud, if you no longer need the water, take something and take the water, like a small utensil, cup, like big, take and pour out until it's not so heavy and liftable, and you can take it out from the bigger pot. So you start taking utensil, you put it down, right? Somehow that it's going to be filled with water from all of the sides, and then like turn off the heat, and you try to start taking water like with a cup or something. I think it should work. That's my idea. Okay. So next question, and I think we're going to do a little break. Does the putting hot meat or dairy dishes into the refrigerator transfer the taste of the wall surrounding the food? No. Cold reminder. The taste is transferred only through the heat or liquid, right, or fat, but in fatty residue, as it's called. But in this case, there is no problem, right? First of all, as we said, it was cold. It's no problem to begin with, and there is no problem. Even if it splatters something, you just wash. Of course, not with a sponge, with a paper towel, and throw the paper towel. That's it, right? You wash it with soap. There is no problem whatsoever, because again, it was cold. Okay, no problem. So let's do 5 minutes break, and we're going to do other topics, and Beezrat HaShem answer the rest of the questions. Thank you. 5 minutes. So we continue with the laws of Yichud. And when chapter 3, and we're on a section when we discuss all of these interesting cases, when something happened, for example, during the night, where there were two shomrim, and one decided that he is going to take off. Right. So next case, number 5, entering house in the middle of the night when there is only one valid shomer. Right, meaning that before a person entered, there was no problem of Yichud. Now he creates the problem of Yichud. So, and it says, one may not rely on exemption of lone shomer when entering into a Yichud situation if the principal and the shomer are both already asleep. Right, both of them, so they're not aware of him. Okay. Therefore, one may not enter a house very late at night in which there is a Yichud situation. When all are asleep, and there is only one shomer. So meaning there is one person with whom he's forbidden to be in Yichud, and there is one shomer, so he's not allowed to create the situation. For example, a male boarder may not enter into the house when a teenage son and daughter, whose parents are away, for example at the wedding, at home alone. Right. Even if they are both fast asleep. Okay. He is required to find another place for the night. Okay. So it's very good example. Some people go to the wedding and they forget to come back. Right. That's also a problem. Right. So now they left children. There is no problem to leave the children at home, the teenage. But I'm not sure. I personally understand the example, but I don't understand how these parents, what these parents were thinking about, right? About this boy, right? On one hand, we have to understand with this border situation, they do big chesed, big kindness to this boy, to his parents, so he's not have to stay in a dormitory. And many times the dormitory is not that large. Right, they cannot contain everybody. Sometimes it's not in the best condition and stuff like that. So of course it's much better to live to stay with a family in private house, have a homemade food, of course. That's not the question, but they put this boy in all this terrible situation, right? Not terrible, but problematic situation. However, in the case of young children, for example, as urgent circumstance, when they are in need of supervision, there is a firm basis to be lenient. Okay, for example, woman's neighbor may come in the middle of the night to watch over the children who are asleep. For example, male child 9 through 11 years old and 6-year-old sibling whose mother left suddenly to the hospital to give birth. Okay, so this lady, the neighbor can from time to time drop in and see if they are sleeping. Okay. So this case, again, it's like exception, but it would be allowed. So point number 6, or situation number 6. Yichud, 1 second, let me see how long is it. Yichud when traveling late at night with a lone shomer. Okay. There is a basis for halachic leniency regarding the exemption of the shomer late at night while traveling with a shomer as explained below. Okay. So first point. A yichud in a car late at night if the lone shomer is a driver. Okay. There is a firm basis to permit yichud in a car with a lone shomer late at night, even on untraveled roads, if the shomer is the one who is driving, meaning that the shomer is not going to fall asleep. Hopefully, this is because the safe driver knows that he must be constantly alert on a road and would not allow himself not to nod off for even a moment, right? Meaning that he is going to control the situation. Right, so he's not going to fall asleep even as we spoke before. His normal bed hours. Okay, examples. If necessary, girl may be a passenger on a long distance trip in a car with two reputable men, Kashering, right? And Ksharim, when one of them is a driver. Okay, so one of them is driver, and she can be there because they are proper men. Okay, upstanding men. In fact, that circumstances preclude any probability of sleeping or even dozing on the part of the shomer, qualifies the driver as a shomer even very late at night, meaning for sure he's not going to sleep. So the initial problem, just to remind us, we said during the day there is no problem with a lone shomer because he is not sleeping. He's going to stop if anything would start, right? But during the night he might fall asleep, so people would not be as concerned about him, right? But here, when he's a driver, for sure he's going to pay attention, right? Even late at night. So the prohibition about late at night was because we were afraid that shomer would fall asleep. So next point, a lone shomer is a principal traveling together in a car late at night. Okay. Some poskim suggest that a lone shomer can permit yichud in a car or other vehicle late at night, even if the shomer not driver. For example, brother and a sister, and a woman is a passenger in a taxi. So 3 people. Whose front driver's section is partitioned. Okay, is partitioned. Traveling in a country late at night. Okay, no problem. They contend that under these conditions, when any result is fitful, there is little concern that the shomer will fall asleep for long enough to allow for any sense of privacy to develop between the others. Okay. One may rely on the view in the present circumstances where there are extenuating factors. For example, the passengers conversing during the trip, or any of the principal is a driver. Okay, so meaning in all of these cases. So meaning that this primary shomer is not going. It's the only one. The shomer or one of the primary drivers, he's not going to fall asleep. He's busy. He's driving or he's talking or. Okay. Examples. If they have no other means of transportation, for example, their yeshiva or camp, or to the yeshiva or camp, yeshiva bochur and his sister halachically a shomer, may be passengers on a long distant trip in a car driven by a woman neighbor. Okay, even if the route takes them on the country roads and late at night. Okay, so let's stop here. Got to point number 7. Alright, so let's see the questions. So let's start from today's question. It says for later. Okay, so later is now. And it says, if a guy has in mind reach out to someone for shidduch purposes, but then he gets rejected right away. If he ends up feeling really bad because of the rejection, will this count as some sort of atonement, which will cleanse him from something he did in the past? Or does it count merely as a natural development of the situation? Does the rule that no suffering the person endures during the lifetime is undeserved apply here particularly to that? Okay, so let's try to understand the question. So again, from the beginning, if guy has in mind to reach out to someone for shidduch purposes, but then he gets rejected right away. Okay, so there was he tried to reach to somebody, he was rejected. End up feeling really bad because of the rejection. Okay. So I think let's split it in I don't know, a few parts, right? So somebody reached out to somebody for shidduch, got rejected. Is it like maybe it's for the best? Right? In Talmud there is a story that I don't remember, one of the sages from the Talmud. So he was traveling, and he came to one very religious community, and he went to synagogue and prayed with them. Everything was nice, but he saw then one boy, like a younger man, right, that were sitting in the end row, and he was crying. And he said, "My son, why are you crying?" He said, "Rabbi, I want to marry such a girl, right? And she does not want me. And I think that we're going to be very good family, right? And she's beautiful, she's this and that, and I want to marry her. Rabbi, please help me. Please bless me." And Rabbi said, "How do you know it's good for you?" Right? He said, "No, I know. So Rabbi said, "Give me a blessing. Okay, may it be successful with this shidduch." Okay. So time passed, and Rabbi comes back to this community, like 2 years back or 3 years back, and then he prayed. They pray very nice, very lively, and then he saw that there is somebody crying in the back. He said, "My son, why are you crying?" The guy lifted up his face. It's the same guy. He said, "What happened? You still crying about this lady?" He said, "No, Rabbi, you blessing word. I actually got married, and she's terrible wife. She's terrible. 1 hour I didn't have enjoyment with this woman. She's disaster. I want to die." Right, and from this story we learned that HaShem actually was protecting this guy, right? And she does not want. So Baruch Hashem, we say she does not want. It's not she does not want. Maybe she wants to marry him, but HaShem protects this person from this marriage. So just because the other side reject does not mean that we are bad. There is some deficiency. Maybe yes, maybe no. Right? Maybe we have to work on ourselves, but just because this side is good and this side is excellent does not mean they have to get married, right? For whatever reason. Okay, so I mean, to feel rejected and feel bad, it's not the right approach. Okay. If it does feel really bad because of the rejection, will it count as some sort of atonement for which cleanse him from something that he did in the past? So that's we have the second part that I want to clarify. So first, a person has to do when person sins, he has to do teshuva. Teshuva starts with what? With stop doing this thing, right? So stop sinning, then regretting, right? And then taking steps not to repeat the sin again. Right? And if the sin was one of this of this kind, for which a person would get chorus meaning that it's his the soul being cut from this world, from the next world. There are three different kinds of chorus. So his life is shortened in this world, but he still gets the Olam Haba, all of these things, right? Or he would get the punishment by the earthly court, right? He was Michal Shabbos, right? For example, right. So, but there are no Beis Din, no Sanhedrin or some other things. Like he did something that nobody saw, right? Or he deserved punishment from the heavenly court, right? That's three different things, right? So for which a person is right, and the person did teshuva, so he must endure suffering in this world, right? So after doing teshuva, so it's not instead of teshuva a person gets suffering. No, it's like in addition to doing teshuva as a part of the cleansing, person goes through the suffering. So this suffering is actually good for him. So meaning, if person did teshuva and there is no suffering, and he or she knows the list of the sins for which they would get course, and it means what? It means only one thing. It's that the teshuva was not accepted at all, right? Because the person was not sincere. If person would be sincere, HaShem would say it's suffering good, Yisurim 100%. If person is righteous, if wicked, most likely it's actually to push him to do teshuva. Right. So again, we have to separate these two things. Is it could be atonement? Yes, if person did complete the show. Okay. Or does it natural development situation? I mean, natural development situation. Natural development situation. A person can say, "Oh, she does not want me." Okay. So next one. Would be. Right, what HaShem sent me. Okay. Right, or a person can suffer, so that's personal choice. Right, some suffering, like many suffering people, bring it upon themselves. Okay. But if you remember the story, always before start suffering and feeling bad, remember the story of this boy. Right, so he says, "Oh no, Rabbi, I actually married her. Guess what? One happy hour with that happy skill." Does the rule that no suffering the person endures during this life is undeserved apply here particularly? So I mean, okay, so the third part of the answer, yes. It says, okay, we're going to see how many questions we have, right? I can give you the full answer, but it's going to take me a very long time. But in short, and very, very short. So it says, how should you say, the person is not going to stop his toe, like in this world, unless it was decided by the heavenly court. That's what the person deserves. So suffering are good. It depends. If sometimes person gets suffering and more suffering because he or she did not get the point. HaShem wants them to do the show, and they're stubborn. No, I'm fine. I'm okay. So it says clearly that HaShem would not forgive a person who says that he or she okay, that they did not sin. One person, HaShem never going to forget. It's very important. Okay. So let's see for later. Okay, now let's later. I wonder if why it seems that I wonder why it seems like Chazon Ish was unique psak on many things. Okay, obviously he was not using his own opinion, but certainly things like halachic measurement seems significantly different. Yes. Okay, so I mean that's the answer is very simple, right? All of the measurement in a Talmud, right? It if you think about there are only few measurements, right? One is a barley grain, right? And how they say thumb width. Right? Well, what's the thumb width? I think it's 5 barley grains. Of course, some huge guy would have 6 or 7 or 12, I guess, right? But average person would have 5. So that's one measurement. Another measurement is a tefach. Like tefach is a feast, or also they say approximate, right? And another measurement is the egg, right? Egg with a shell. And in the Talmud, if you see, it does not make sense. So that they say how big is the egg? 2 olives. Like if you look, we bought olives, like the tiny, like compare 1 olive to the egg. Of course, there are bigger olives, but compared to the eggs, it would be 6 olives, I think, to the egg, maybe 8 olives. Huge one, jumbo schmambo, right? And I'm talking regular. Regular is probably 10 or 12 or 15 maybe to one, like weight wise, for sure, right? So there is the disputes between the poskim, right? How big was an egg in the time of a Talmud and in that time? You understand? So was it like this? So what the egg became bigger or the olives become smaller? You understand? So that's why, based on the assumption of the Chazon Ish, so he went to the more stricter opinion. So more stricter opinion, of course, covers all of the other opinions. So and that's what he paskin. So sometimes it's exactly double. No, it's not double. It's less than the double, right? For example, what is it? Revi'is according to average. I'm talking about average. There is a 2.9 even, so, but average, let's say there is 3.2 ounces, right? Average revi'is. Chazon Ish says it's 5.1. So it's not double, but it's almost double, right? And some other things as well, right? Kibbutz also, all of these things are different, right? But I don't remember exactly what sage he was going by, but for sure, whatever he said covers it's. Okay, it's the best according to all of the opinions. There is no opinion that would say opposite to Chazon Ish. Okay, and there are people that from Bnei Brak, they call themselves Chazon Ishniks, right? And if you see esrog, you go buy esrog on sukkahs for Chazon Ish esrog. So it's like all other esrogs. It's like lemon, half a lemon, maybe lemon, yes lemon, not lemon. You see Chazon Ish esrog, for sure it's a esrog. There is no doubt in anybody's mouth there is a esrog. It costs 3 times more, but that's a different story, right? Right. So this Chazon Ishniks is the most stricter people, much stricter than many Hasidim. Just so we know, right? So some people think that Hasidim the most stricter. No, Chazon Ishniks even more stricter in some areas. Right, very interesting. Continue. Sponge we said. Okay, so let's see before class. Okay, before class we didn't have. Okay. So refrigerator we said. Okay, next question. Regarding going to ocean. Okay. I have heard the stories of big tzaddikim using ocean as a main mikveh, and Rabbi Reuven Shlita had spoken regarding having a lecture in a hotel near the beach at night. I wonder in which cases it would be permissible to go near the mixed beach. How near is considered risky if non-permissible situation? Say that one has a job or wants to go to a store 1 or 2 blocks inland. If it is different in any of these aspects regarding if it is simply the ocean with no beach, And particularly, so a very long question, so we're going to split it. Particularly in the case of the mikveh, since I understand that one must dip without clothing, yes, why did this tzaddikim not have to be concerned about becoming undressed where the other can see? Okay, so let's address this question. Very interesting question. So again, regarding the going into the ocean, I mean, for a man, let's say, use it as a mikveh. I have heard the story about big tzaddikim using the ocean as a man. I'm not sure about tzaddikim using. I'm not sure who we're talking about. Lake, yes, but without beaches, without anybody being there. And plus, they do like a mikveh. They do very early in the morning, like very early in the morning. So when nobody's there. So and okay. So if you live next to the ocean and next to the beach, so you go when there is no beach, right? There's just ocean. Right, I mean, beach. There's no official beach when people are swimming, right? So I'm going to answer the next question, right? How do you go naked? Of course. So of course you go in with swimming trunks, and you go there and you take them out and you dip, and then they hopefully they flow away very, very far. So you can you can handle in your hands. That's it. Like you don't touch it, so the water would go everywhere, but you can handle from one hand to another. There is no problem. For men, there is no problem. So of course, then you put it back and you go out. We're not like these crazy people that go naked, like in a public beach. Of course. So first of all, there is if there are people, they are even if there's women, you're not allowed to go there. So you need to go to some place in the ocean, very secluded, with no people basically, right? Or very early. Okay. Mixed beach. So mixed beach, we said it's during the day, absolutely not. Even if the people are walking, there is usually a boardwalk next to the beach, so it is absolutely forbidden. To go, even the women are running, it's absolutely forbidden. So right, so go in the different place. Okay. How near is considered risky if non-permissible situation? Not permissible. Say that one has a job or wants to go in a store 1 or 2 blocks inland. I mean, right. So the idea that we must keep in mind, so that there is no requirement for a man to go to the mikveh, unless there is a special day in which Shulchan Aruch says it's preferably, for example, before Rosh Hashanah, for sure. Say before Rosh Hashanah, it's proper to go to the mikveh. For sure, everybody say before Yom Kippur, before Pesach, before Shavuos, major holidays. What else? I don't know. I think that's it. Maybe another day, but technically that's it. So, and if there is a choice to go and see some jogging ladies or take shower, so you will take shower. That's it. So if there is no kosher mikvah, and the only 2 choices to go on the mixed beach or to take shower, so take shower. Especially for men, there is no problem. There is no blessing. There is nothing. For women, it's not going to work, but for men, no problem. Or you go deep in the pool if you have your own pool, right, or somebody else's pool. Go deep in the pool. Right. So we said about again. I'm not sure what tzaddikim we're talking about that used to live next to the ocean. I'm not sure who is it. Not sure. To next to the river in Europe, right? They would go in a lake and break an ice. And I have a clip around. It's a Ribnitz Rebbe, right, from Moldova. Yes, he went to Israel, then he went to Muncie, established his yeshiva, big tzaddik. People go to his grave. Right, he was a famous miracle worker. Okay. So next question. We have, does the shomer status change in a very dark, if it is very dark, and there is low visibility in the back seat? I mean, I don't think so, and I'm going to explain because you still can hear what's going on. So it's not like it's 20 feet away. It's like a feet and a half away, 2 feet away from you. So that's I don't think it changes. Okay, so next question. If hypothetical situation where a person who has been where a person who has been impossible to relieve themselves and has the urgency to go but cannot, if that person allowed to recite Asher Yatzar and therefore any other blessing. I'm not sure about the question. Oh, well, one more time the question. In a hypothetical situation, if where the person has been impossible to relieve themselves and has the urgency but cannot. Somehow I apologize. Somehow I understood that there is a public place and person wants to go to restroom. There is no restroom. Okay, sorry. Okay, I'm not sure why I understand that. Okay, but okay. So person wants to go to the restroom and cannot relieve themselves, and has the urgency but cannot. But it cannot go. Okay. If a person allowed to recite Asher Yatzar and therefore any other blessings. It's a very good question. So Asher Yatzar we say on if a person relieves himself even for a drop. One drop is enough, right? To say Asher Yatzar. Of course, it's not everything, but every little bit. So it's still that body release. So you can say the blessing, right? Right. So you share Asher Yatzar. The second part is not such an easy situation. Right, where we said if a person has an urgency to go to the bathroom, so they cannot say the blessings. So they cannot say the blessing, but the person cannot go. I'm not sure. It's not easy question at all. If I understand correctly what the person is asking. Situation, a person who has been impossible to relieve themselves and has the urgency to but cannot. Is a person allowed to recite Asher Yatzar? On this we explain, and therefore any other blessing. Let's put it aside because it's not such an easy question. I want to say yes, but I'm not 100% sure. Yes about the other blessing because person just cannot go. So it's not like he's holding himself back. So the problem with this topic is discussed in the laws of Shmona Esrei. It says when a person has even tiny urgency to go before he starts the Shmona Esrei, and then he said, I want to pray with a minion. A person is lazy, a special man, right? He does not want to take off tefillin, right, and talis, and then everybody see, and then he comes back and have to put on and have to say new blessing. On talis we don't say the blessing, but on tefillin you have to say blessing. So it's still time. So by the time you come back, maybe you're going to finish. Not finish, but be halfway through. Maybe even no. Actually, no. Until you put on tefillin. Right, the person decided not to go, and guess what? So Shulchan Aruch said this prayer is abomination. It's not counted. He has to repeat it. No, he has to repeat it. Why? Because it's an abomination. It's like serving an idol. Because a person had the urgency to go. So in this case, yes, a person has the urgency to go but cannot. So let's put it aside. I'm not sure. Okay, so continue. Next one. I have a question about transferring of taste. Okay, if a wooden utensil has a sitting in a stove with a strong non-kosher smell, and it happened that absorbed the taste of the store. I'm sorry, I said stove. No. Again. Question about transferring the taste. If the wooden utensil was sitting in a store, okay, with a strong non-kosher taste, the smell, whatever is it, right? and it happened to observe the taste of the store, is it prohibited? I mean, I think if you wash it because it was not with a steam, right? It was not with the water, it was not with the steam. So I think if you wash it with a soap and just let it stand, I think the smell should go away. I think. Okay, so there is no problem. So smell is not essence in this case. Okay. But of course, this wood utensils, they're porous and they absorb, right? Not in this case. I'm not talking. I'm talking in general. I don't want to confuse anybody. Okay. So next question. Right, question about having guests on Shabbos Yom Tov. Okay, how can someone gauge if they can have an open door for guests? Should this be a standard / expected of everyone? Very good question. Is inviting expected family? Is inviting expected family? Just 1 second. It's jumped. Sorry. Should be the standard for everyone. Is invited expected family visiting considered in a mitzvah of inviting a guest, or it is only for those in need? How do we know if someone is in need and we have able to help? I'm assuming. I'm probably thinking. Thinking. Okay, I'm thinking about the Holy Rav Herman Zatzal. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so from the beginning. Question about having guests. Okay, on Shabbos Yom Tov. How can one gauge if they can have an open door for guests? I mean, not for every guest. So, for example, per person wants to invite guests, and I have a very big experience with guests. HaShem, as I said in many classes. So you want to accompany, but you have to first investigate who's these people. Are they kosher people, right? Are they learning Torah? If they're not learning Torah, guess what? They're going to speak around your Shabbos table about the things they do know. What they know? They know about Hollywood. They know about market prices. They know about election. They know about war in this country and what China said, what China did not say, and what France said. And they love the Jews and what they kick out, and they will watch Al Jazeera and what they say, and all the conspiracy in Netanyahu. Before you invite people, you have to be prepared, based on a simple assumption, a simple conclusion, where people learn Torah or not. So what conversation is going to be? So even if you're going to prepare your Dvar Torah for half an hour, if you can last that long, let's say, right? So how is going to work out? You understand? So you would be forced basically to listen to this garbage from this guest. Okay. So if they're kosher guests, there is no problem. You can invite them, and you would ask them to prepare Dvar Torah. You say Dvar Torah, they say Dvar Torah. There is no problem, right? But to open the door policy, or you would have to be a rude host and interrupt them and say, I apologize. It seems to me it is a Lashon Hara, pure Lashon Hara. I'm not allowed to listen to you, and I don't want to put a stumble block in front of the blind because I ask you to stop. Okay, so if you're ready to do that, that's the thing. Okay, but so it's not so simple. We have to know next step what is going to happen. Okay, but if a person wants a guest, and they good guests, and they willing to listen to you and not say too many shtoyos, so that's a different story. Should it be standard expected of everyone to have guests? No. Some people they happy, content with their family, right? And they have a kids, and kids have their needs. They need to put them to bed at 9 p.m. right? And now they cannot because guests want to be entertained, right? And it's not right. So they don't want guests, not because they're anti-guests, but the kids come first, basically, right? And okay. And it's proper. The kids want to tell you what happened in yeshiva, what happened in the kindergarten. They have have stories to share, what the teachers said, this and that. So yeah, you have to give them attention before the guests. And plus, the mitzvah of the guest is only a person who has no other place to eat or to stay, right? Or it's you, or he goes to the, I don't know, outside. That's it. Or he's going to stay in his hotel room and his, I don't know, like a boarding room and eat crackers. Okay, or he would eat or she would eat the full hearty meal at your house, right? That's the guest. Otherwise, like if the neighbors from 2 blocks away, they're not guests. They have food. They have place to stay. It's just the visitors. So this Shabbos you cook, next Shabbos they cook. So it's not considered to be mitzvah of the guests. Okay, it's mitzvah to have friends, to have good relations, but no more than that. So as we understand, many people who have guests, they do not have guests. Have somebody, right, to just come over for a company. How do we know that someone is in need? We have the ability to help. So it's a very good question. We have to see on situation. Maybe to talk to a rabbi, see if who knows this person, right? Who is in need and we can help. It's on a case by case basis. I cannot give a general rule, right? So some people just want attention, and they would do everything for attention. Are they in real need of help? No, they don't care about you, not about your help. They want to be heard, right? They want to sit around the table. They tell their stories. Okay. I'm thinking about Rav Herman Zatzal. I'm not sure I know who's Rav Herman. Okay, continue. So there is a famous American by the Kotel, and I saw him. And there are many stories that they said about him. So many years ago, he went to Yerushalayim, and he said, I think he was from or Sameach. It's on top, across the plaza, the Kotel Plaza on top, right? So he came there and said, he saw people. He said, do you have a place to eat? They said, no. We were thinking like a Friday night, and he knew. He say, look, you can go to my friend. This is this address. So he asked me. He's very lonely. Maybe he wants the guest, and he started mentioning. And after today, he has a 50, 100 pairs, but that he matches every Friday. He has a list of all the people who ask him for guests and how many people they can take, and he stayed there. I saw him once. It's very interesting fellow, but many people do that. So they're tourists and they the tourists or bochrim. They want the entertainment, they want company, they want songs, they want this and that. Yeah, so that's the thing, right? But right. So continue. When first noticing a woman is pregnant, should one make a remark or ask her? Maybe one can take better note of her health. I don't think we have to do any to say any remarks. So she's pregnant. So, right? So just keep quiet. So if you want to smile, you smile. If she wants to talk, start conversation, let her start conversation. But we should not be the first, especially if we just noticed, right? Maybe so that one can take better note of your health. Okay, so maybe you saw, let's say it's your coworker, so you should try to accommodate, but otherwise it's better not to make any comments. Okay, so next question. Right question about modesty. If one is naturally correct, if one is naturally connected to sensuality and has a difficult time fighting Yetzer Hara, what is the best way to adopt the modest behavior and ideology and channel their nature both when single and married. How not to step into the trap of immorality or immodesty when killing this sensual nature and personality. Okay. If one fears, so continuation, if one fears that they are immodest and God forbid be disgusted by HaShem, God forbid, how should they behave in private with their spouse? Would it be concerned for if a woman not modest enough in private with her husband and have the detrimental spiritual effect on her husband? Right. Okay, so it's not easy questions. Let's try to answer. Okay, question about modesty. If one is naturally connected to sensuality and has a difficult time fighting Yetzer Hara. Okay. So sensuality is not a problem. So just so we know, we just have to channel it properly. So if it's not shown like outside and it's not provoke other people, there is no problem. It's only in private between this lady and her husband that there is no problem, right? But if a person starts acting on that, that's the problem with wasting seed, and women also consider if they with themselves it's considered wasting seed. Right? It all depends. It all depends what we're going to do with that. So how we can contain it, right? Or opposite, if person acts on it, that's the issue. Okay. So that's what is the best way to adopt mother's behavior in ideology and channel to their nature, and channel to their both for single and married. So that's very good question. So again, if person work on themselves, of course, Yetzer Hara would not allow us to kill this thing completely. Let's not kill ourselves. At least right away, but at least we can start working it so not to show it publicly. So again, even a person have I don't know, some deficiency, let's say, right? If you contain it, if you don't show publicly, if you don't act on it, so there is no problem. It's actually the person would get a big reward for every second, as we learn in Chafetz Chaim, for every second not to act on that tendency. So a person has the ability and have urge and not to act, so it's like a person did some positive act. So it's a big deal. Right, both for single and married. So when married, there is no problem to be attractive for a husband, and right, and that's a different story. How do not step into the trap of immorality and immodesty? So immorality, not again, but first, immorality is only for with people who are forbidden to us. That's immorality. Immodesty, maybe immodesty when with a husband. Right, without killing sensual nature. Again, sensual nature, there is no problem. There is no problem. It's actually good. Right, it's actually good, but nature and personality. So again, just contain it. Don't show outside. Don't use it only for the sake of marriage. Right, with a husband. There is no problem. There is no problem. Okay, continue. If one fears that they would be immodest, and God forbid be disgusted by HaShem, but it's only again it's outside, inside there is no problem. How should they behave in private with a spouse? So again, so this relationship with a spouse should not be like some kind of Dory movies, right? It must be with a classy, right? Classy, modest, like covered, everything, right? And not to give him like too many ideas that he would want to look at other women. That's the thing, right? It must be very, very classy. Okay, and plus when we learn Torah together with the spouse, it's going to cleanse us, both of them, right? And it's going to cleanse our character, right? For sure. Would be a concern for a woman not to modest enough in private with her husband and have detrimental spiritual effect on her husband, for sure. Yeah, that's the last sentence. That's for sure. So that's why I said yes, it's a husband, is allowed, everything is good, but it should be to the limit, right? It should not be immoral, something, right? Not too much. Okay, not to follow the ways of non-Jews, the way they do things. Will be concerned a woman is not modest enough in private, and for sure, and yes, it can affect spirit. It may take a detrimental effect on the husband for sure, spiritual for sure. Yeah. So we have to be very careful. Okay. So next, Kudrav, should a guy go to the mikveh before getting married to them? I mean, it's proper. Yeah. You see, I forgot to mention this thing. Yes, it's proper for a man to go to mikveh before the marriage, in the morning. So next question. Got to catch a flight soon. To the Rav, the amazing Shiur, this Laila Tov Lekulam. Okay, so continue. So next question. Continuation of this question about the guests on Shabbos from the book All for the Boss. Okay. Okay. Who is known for inviting many guests on Shabbos. Okay. Right. Okay, see, I forgot his name. So, Rabbi Herman. Is it always beneficial to the guests? I mean, it's very good question. So, back in Europe, how did it work? So, in the cities, when they have many guests, many visitors, they would not have a place to go. So, it was very simple. So, on one side, there were people who need to get invited, who wants to be invited. And then all other people, members of the community, would come and say, you come with me, you come with me, you come with me. And they would invite everybody. And the problem is that sometimes a person who does not smell very good, nobody wants to have them in the house. Right? That's the thing. Right, so that's our old practice. That's what we do. Right. But like technically, naturally, to have many guests in the house, I mean, they go and talk about they want that you're going to feed them. Is it very beneficial? Maybe yes, maybe no. I don't know. So what I notice when we have a mix of guests, like two different ideology, I mean, it's not very productive. I mean that's because we try always to get to the kiruv, like we bring people closer, and this is couple is not very interested. So if you one-on-one, so I mean only this couple, it's one thing. But if there is another couple, they talking between each other, women talking together, men talking together. It's like it depends what you want. If you're bored and you want a company, you want people for conversation, yeah, that is going to work. But if you want to do kiruv or help these people, so again, most of the people do not need help, unfortunately. Okay. I mean, no, actually, it's good. They do not need any help. Okay, they just want to socialize, and unfortunately, so many people who want to socialize, and that their lifestyle. They just go from one place to another place to another place, and they never settle down, which is a big issue. So next question, Rabbi, I read before that one who has a strong desire to relieve him or her or herself regarding number one, person must go as soon as possible to avoid becoming barren. How concerned should one be about this? It will be a while before a person will be near the restroom. Okay, so that's yes. That's what Shulchan Aruch said. It is a danger for a man. I think it's for a woman also. I think, but for men for sure, that he can become barren, sterile, if they don't go to the bathroom, especially in number one. So in this case, so it's always works. So if you pay money, so they say no, the restroom only for the customers. Okay, so you offer them $10, $5, and see how say, I did not know that you want to go so much, so they give you a key or something. there's always a gas station, like supermarkets. All of the big supermarkets have a restroom, for sure. Ask them. Right? I think if they have such some limited space, they have to have a restroom. So don't wait until the known restroom to you, but go in go ask people. And plus we live in a big city, so I mean we don't travel as much, but when we used to travel, so we also always we have a rule in my family, so we go to the restroom when there is a restroom, not when you want to go to the restroom. When you have a restroom, so you go. Like how many times? Any times you see the restroom, you go. Right? In this case, you would be more or less safe. Right? But it's for sure it's an issue. Okay. So next question, it's continuation on the question about modesty. So let's keep jumping, but okay. So, I wonder what would be the line between good sensuality and walk in the way of goyim in a private with one's husband. That's a very good question. Would dress in shape revealing clothing, or dress in long enough to walk, or dress not long enough to walk in the way of goyim? A question about the marriage. I wonder if okay. So before we continue to the second, let's do the first one. I wonder what would be the line between good sensuality, which we say don't kill it. It's actually good, right? And walk in the way of goyim in private with a husband. So all of this, dressing up as a character, or pretend that they're somebody else. That's a big problem. Acting out. So also people stage some play, right? That's also like craziness. So we do our a husband is together with his wife under the bed sheets, and there is no light. I mean, maybe there is a light, but only not too much light, right? Not too much light, and not in these costumes, not revealing. So she can get dressed in whatever she wants, but she must be covered. You understand? So that's the thing. That's walking out in the way of game, and then unfortunately we had this situation, and when this husband, he watched too much pornographic movies or whatever he watched, and he was making this poor wife to acting out like he saw in the movie, unfortunately, and she was crying. And she's a kosher woman. She's holy woman. I mean, after she did the show, of course, but. It took us some time to put some sense in this guy. You understand? So because he was very stubborn, and he said, I cannot be with her unless she we do this act. Acting out. So of course it's a big torture for a woman, for a kosher woman. But okay, we handle the situation. I'm not going to tell what happened, but Baruch Hashem, I think the way I understand, it's more or less kosher, right? We kosher his brain a little. Sometimes we have to wash somebody's brain. Okay. Or dress not long enough, be walking in a way of going, right? So again, under the bed sheets and under the blanket, you can wear whatever you want, but to walk in front of the husband, it would be acting out would be too much. That's how I know these things. Unfortunately. Next one, could I have a question about marriage? I wonder if insecurity ever healthy in a marriage. No, this insecurity is a very problematic thing, especially on the woman's part, right? So she's insecure. And man starts feeling like he's a macho, and maybe he can get a second wife, right? Because he's such a great taker, taken care of, right? So that's the issue. So even if a woman feels insecure, so she should not show it to her husband, right? That's very important. So it's not healthy in the marriage, no. Okay. So continue. Right, question about shidduch. If during the shidduch one party likes the other much more than the other party, would this imbalance indicate some level of incompatibility? Again, the question. During shidduch, one party likes another party more than the other party. Sorry. During the shidduch, one party likes the other much more than the other way. Okay. Would this imbalance indicate some level of incompatibility? Absolutely not. First of all, we never know how the other side feels. Right? Some people show their feelings, some people don't. Some people hide their feelings, right? And they know how to express them. There's some men who were raised in such environment, so he has to be like, right? So he would not say tell out loud his feelings. He would try to hide them, which does not make sense. But just because they do not express their feelings, so you cannot decide that this is it. Is it incompatibility? I don't think so. I mean, liking is not enough, right? To get married. Person may like many people, but that does not mean that we have to get married to all of them, right? So it's much more than that. But of course, it's one of the aspects. So a little more, a little less. Anyway, when the real connection between husband and wife comes after many years together, when they went through all of the troubles and tribulations. Through together, not a separate. He's telling her about his life and she's talking about her upbringing. It's useless. I mean, it's her experience and it's his experience, and maybe it's very interesting and maybe it's very wonderful, but it's foreign to them, to other party. But when they go through it together, so it's this feeling of liking the other party and love. That's how the love develops. Love does not develop when just dating and you go to a restaurant or a cafe and sitting and chit chatting. No, love is when you live together and so the other party is sick, you try to help them, and then you sick, they try to help to take care of you, right? Or other things, different situations like her side of family, his side of family. Right? Arguments at work, that's a million and a half things. And that's how love and camaraderie is development, right, between the husband and wife. But just sitting in a cafe and telling the stories and Dvar Torahs, right? It's not okay. So the bottom line, that does not indicate any incapability. Okay, so the next question. So next question, continuation on the question about this sensuality, right? Good sensuality and walking in the ways of game. Okay, which area of husband and wife allowed or not allowed to see? The problem. Is it the problem to reveal certain areas of each other? Yes, there is a big problem. So a man should not see the woman down there. Why? It can bring to the very bad things. Right? First of all, to bad children. Right? That's children, or if he has if he have ideas to kiss there, so the children would get some. I don't remember exactly, but some deficiencies. Right? Right, very bad. Right, so man is not allowed to look there, for sure. But all other body parts, there is no problem. There is no problem. But again, so women, so many women, they're self-conscious. So it's better to cover her if she's self-conscious. So it has have as least light as possible, or you can turn on the light maybe in another room, like in a closet, some indirect light if she's self-conscious, and he's also looking for perfection. So I'm telling you, I like these people. I just lose my speech. The guy with a like huge belly, like with three chins, and then he's talking about a woman size, I don't know, 6 or like a 8 or something. Like a, you serious? Like, when the last time you were you look at yourself at the mirror? You unbelievable, right? So there's people like that who into physicality. So the less she's going to show him, the more he would use his imagination. It's actually better for the relationship, because if he is going to get used to looking at her right without clothing and so on, so he would lose this sense of secrecy, which is not good. Right? That's actually keep the relationship moving, right? Okay, so that's yeah. So other areas there is no problem. Okay, and plus if she has a body imperfection, I don't want to say defect, like some birthmark. So some people okay with birthmark, but some people say birthmark like some people have like a red stain or something, whatever. And if somebody else would see it, they would get disgusted. Which is I mean there is no problem. There is no problem with this, but so we try to hide all of this imperfection for sure, right? Especially, I mean, it's in olden days it was only like men, like crazy in this regard, but now even women like that. Again, because they look, maybe they see all of this men in in the pictures, and this. So sometimes I get on what is it on TikTok? I don't know, whatever. We have this advertisement, and okay, for a woman it's I skip, but sometimes it men. So I don't skip, and I see this man like I don't know, they groom so much better than women, many women altogether. You understand? I'm not sure how many hours, like a beard, like so perfect, every hair, like with a gel, with this, like a perfect cut, like unbelievable. This short, brand new, everything brand new, everything to the size. It's not like I buy like a size in general, but like he's like, of course, color. He says a color lens, so like, but I would not look at like no, I would say like what is it, classic style. I would not go like with other stuff. But this guy, like I've seen his feet, unbelievable. So with this guy, if he sees any imperfection as a woman, so she's out, right? We have to be careful with clowns like that. Of course, he's a clown. A man should not be like that. Man has to do his manly job. Meaning, if it's a Jew, right, he has to learn Torah and do the mitzvahs. Right? Not to be too much into his physicality or his wife's physicality and tell her what to do, how to act out. But of course, I mean, just as that woman, she asked me, should she divorce this guy because he's like an animal, this and that. I mean, I understand, like after you start learning Torah and you feel like that, but I ask her not to do that. Okay, so I mean, Baruch Hashem, she trusted me, and she had the patience, and it worked out. I mean, it worked out. Baruch Hashem. It just takes time. So if you younger people, the generation, they just dump. They don't like something, like dump and go forward. So I mean, it's not the right approach in marriage. Just because you don't like something, first of all, maybe it's not such a big deal, right? You have to analyze why you don't like this thing. Maybe problem is with you, right? Maybe you can put a blind eye on it, like turn a blind eye on it. So then that's it. Maybe it's not such a big deal. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so last question. Rabbi, is it safe? Is it safe to say the purpose of righteous goyim is more to focus on working than the Torah if they do not wish to convert? Again, is it safe to say the purpose of righteous goyim is more focused on working than learning Torah if they don't wish to convert? I mean, in order to be righteous, a non-Jew has to learn Torah. right? So it cannot be righteous. Not Jew or non-Jew cannot be righteous without learning what's the definition of righteous, what is expected of them. That's very, very, very important. And of course, so when person is working, when person is busy with something, so it's much less likely that he's going to get in trouble, do some sins, right? Or who does all this craziness? Teenagers, right? Or right, who have no work, or some other people who live there with their mother, they're not working. Father is working, mother is working, and guess what? They just stay home and do exactly nothing. So yeah, from these people come all the issues. But when person is working, there is no problem, right? So men come to here to work, yes. But learning Torah is absolutely. Okay, so next question. If any area certain not to look. So the question, what about wife looking at the husband? With husband, there is no problem whatsoever. So she can look at the husband. If she would not find it disgusting or not attractive, there is no problem. There is no problem. So she can look. But the problem only is him looking at her, right, in that place. All right. So I think we answered all the questions. Beezrat HaShem. Right. Very nice. So thank you very much for learning with us. And as I said, most likely that we're going to continue this 8 p.m. until the further notice. And I'm not going to send any more emails unless something is going to change. And thank you for learning. And we covered a lot. Beezrat HaShem, and learn a lot, new subjects. And we should continue next week and go even stronger. Beezrat HaShem. So I wish you everybody good Shabbos and all the best until next week. Thank you.